Welcome, everybody. We still remain with drinking water topic for this presentation. And today I'll be talking about this poverty of sustainability in the behavioral choice of drinking water among people in Germany and in Kenya. Now, what does this poverty of sustainability mean? The poverty of sustainability is basically the disconnect between macro sustainability measures, that is policies and programs, and personal sustainability, which is more to do with human perceptions, attitudes, emotions, and actions. And this disconnect is the root cause of many sustainability problems, including drinking water, global poverty, climate change, conflicts, and pollution. And many times governments, bureaucrats, like our previous speaker Pranjal mentioned, many sustainability measures or macro sustainability measures treat water as an object for production and distribution. They rarely see the micro behavioral practices, which is more interconnected with land, water, and emotions, power dynamics, and which is connected to the ecology in general. And this paper basically explores this so-called gap in drinking water provision in Germany and in Kenya. And as you see this, I just want to come, I'm taking a case of Nakuru city in Kenya, and I took a broader case, which is North Rhine-Westphalia as a state, because I didn't get good information or much information for Bonn city. It would have been very ideal to compare Bonn city and Nakuru city in Kenya. The total population of Nakuru city is about 571,000, while North Rhine-Westphalia is about 17 million. However, I bring these down to per capita. So the per capita supply of water in Nakuru city is around about 83 liters per capita per day. This is official version. Please don't quote me. The unofficial version, this is different. And the NRV also says its official version is about 138 liters per capita per day. And the cost of supplying this much of water for the people is about 0.45 euros in Kenya and 4.83 euros in Germany, which is in North Rhine-Westphalia. In terms of coverage, Kenya...
Per capita or per liter?
No, this is the total, which is 138 liters per day, per capita. The coverage in Kenya officially is said to be 93%. In NRV, it's about 99%. And in Kenya, the water supply is intermittent once or twice a week, or even sometimes even not that. So people largely depend on informal providers who supply water to people at a cost of €1 or 2.3 euros per month in an unmetered context. Our jerry cans, as you see in this picture below in a motorbike, jerry cans cost around about 7 cents to 14 cents. And water tankers also come and supply water. But we don't have those so-called informal providers in NRV, but there are other providers which I will talk about later. And then in addition to these informal providers, we have bottled water being supplied in many parts of Kenya and in Germany. And in Kenya, they pay approximately, from our household survey that we did, it's about 0.9 euros, cost of 1 liter of a bottled water. And in Germany, it is about 0.59 euros per liter of water that we get. Okay, so I had to also mention that the data is also from the secondary source and also from the primary sources in Kenya, while for the North Rhine-Westphalia, it is largely based on whatever information is available online and from some government records that I got this. And yes, now I see there is a poverty of plenty in NRV. In Germany, we have very good resources in terms of water supply. The resource constraint is not at all there. And so I consider an NRV as a case of poverty of plenty. And in Kenya, I consider this as a poverty of scarcity. And let me explain it to you a little bit. in NRV or the general consumption of the liters per capita per day, the per capita consumption in Germany is set to reduce not much, but from 138 liters per capita per day to 121 liters per capita per day in general, in the last 20, 30 years. But simultaneously, you see there's a bottled water consumption increase almost tenfold in Germany. As you see this data, which is liters per capita per year it is. So I converted that information into liters per capita per day. It comes to that every day, one German, people living in German, consumes about 350 ml of bottled water in addition to the public water supply they get. In essence, government spends billions of rupees, billions of euros to get the so-called good water for the people and has very good coverage, but people still go for bottled water for various reasons. I've still not given information for how much of beer people consume, how much of coffee people consume. Coffee is one of the largest consumption of liquid drinks in Germany. Then comes this bottled water, and third comes the beer. Yes, average price we pay in Germany is about €0.50, and which is almost 20-fold more than what we pay for the government water. The water quality is considered to be one of the best in the world, and which the ministry also confirms that. But unfortunately, people don't trust that quality among the people. So people tend to drink bottled water in various places across the country. Now, I have drawn this bottled water data. I didn't get the disaggregated information for NRV specifically. So therefore, I took the Germany data and then extrapolated for NRV. In case of Nakuru, it's nothing big to say other than telling that it is one of the water scarce region in the world. And we have very poor water supply in the city. It is intermittent once or twice a week. And there are reports or independent reports telling the coverage is only 65%, not 93% as officially portrayed by the Nakuru city authorities. And only 25% of the people actually receive 50 liters per day of water. So that is the strange part of it. And water is unreliable, inadequate distribution, and water quality is a basic concern. Fluoride is quite high, lead is quite high in the waters of Nakuru city. And it is also quite known in Rift Valley where the fluoride and lead is quite high in the water supply areas. So what makes Germans to prefer bottled water instead of tap water, which is very good quality in terms of quality, in terms of quantity, it's quite good. There is residual sentiments from war and industrial pollution from 1940s up to 1970s. And this picture once a little bit illustrates that how this is a place very close to Koblenz. If people are aware of where Koblenz is, two men basically throwing dead fish out because of industrial pollution. Many fishes are dead. And even there are reports you can see in this article, which I published, where it says people are not even allowed to go near Rhine in 1970s. That was the situation it is. But that sentiments and the pollution remains with the people. And if you ask, even if simply ask people around in Germany, how did they consume water in 60s, 70s, or 80s? It's interesting to ask and get those information. And the second thing is lifestyle choices, because we are all living in a very modern world, very mobile world. So we tend to have bottled water. And also in our meeting, we also get the bottled water. Very simple one to have is a water dispenser. Yes, Alma, that's really nice. So we can have a water dispenser and give water. But you see in any of the conferences in Bonn or any places, bottled water is kept on all the tables for convenience, for lifestyle. It's easy for people to take and drink. And people prefer flavored water, apple flavored, lemon flavored, what not flavored they like. Okay. And yes, government-private nexus is quite high. And this you can also see, go to any restaurants and ask for drinking water, which you normally get in most countries in the world. When you go to restaurants, water is provided at no cost. But in Germany, they charge for all the water they provide, whether it is a tap water, even though it is free. Yes. So the residual sentiments and lifestyle choices determine the behavioral choice of people in Germany. Despite government spending billions of euros in supplying such a beautiful water for the people. And you should also know that as many people are drinking bottled water, less than 7% of the PET bottles are actually recycled in this world. So many times in Germany, we say this bottle can be recycled, but I do not know. The Wuppertal Institute clearly says a plastic bottle can be recycled only once, not more than once, technically speaking, engineering wise. And considering bottled water, namely plastic bottled water, the nanoplastics are quite high. And in terms of the glass bottled water, the nanoplastics are quite less. And there is growing evidence which shows that ultra-processed foods, which many of the drinking water bottles comes under that category because they do an RO, reverse osmosis treatment, which Pranjal was mentioning, and then infuse minerals into the water. It is strongly linked with mental health and chronic diseases across the world. And with US studies, I've just tried to point out that. Yes, so this has got to do with Germany. How do we overcome these challenges? I say it's got to do with the mindset of the way the development institutions functions. Both countries, Germany and Kenya, are in a rat race to source more and more water despite knowing resources are being finite. It's a very exploitative mindset that we have. And this is supported with the top-down strategies, which I call as a fix-it mindset, which means government thinks certain things and they think we can impose on people and their behavior. And the people lack trust on government. In both countries, people lack trust on the government. In Germany, they say there's too much of coal content. In Kenya, of course, there is obvious reasons. And more important is, we are not talking about simply regulating sustainable practices, but we want government to also regulate unsustainable practices, which doesn't exist. Now, how do we change the mindset of development agencies in order to reduce the poverty of sustainability? Is to contextualize the strategies and programs, promote indigenous knowledge for water conservation. I think in some of the countries, like in Australia, the Brisbane city authorities put stalls in the market almost every week to show people the water they supply is one of the best quality than the bottled water. But that I didn't see it anywhere in Germany. And also you don't find public fountains in many places in Germany, as in other countries you will find it. Only in airport you'll find some public fountains. So, and rainwater harvesting, here I'm suggesting in Kenya, they do it in a very independent ways in the independent households. But in terms of government, it's much less. In Germany, they also do rainwater harvesting, like in Cologne city, they do rainwater harvesting, but it is quite a minimal compared to what can be done. And in Germany, rainwater harvested, if you harvest rainwater and use it for your own purpose, the government gives money for you. That's something good. But you take this rainwater and pour into the drain, then you pay money for almost like the water cost it is. 5 minutes. Yes, I'm almost done. Okay. Yes. Yes, more important is the government should start engaging with the people through awareness creation, knowing the emotions and sentiments of the people, like I was talking about the past sentiments in Germany as an example of it. Yes, in essence, I want to point out that, even the previous presenter talked about how government bureaucracies are jointly linked with other trying to promote water supply for the people. But I'm just wondering, comparing these cases in Kenya and Germany, is the government really worthwhile to provide water supply at this cost? Can it be just left to the private people to supply water at whatever cost and risk they may have? I'm just wondering, because I see Germany spending billions and people are not drinking water, using that water for toilets and other purposes. While in Kenya, they're struggling to spend money to provide water when there is no water. So these kind of things really talks about this poverty. And I have more details of it in the paper published in the journal. So I think if people are interested, I should have put this link here, but if people are interested, they can reach out to us. Thank you so much.